And welcome to the Gadget Spot. Back after 2 weeks of no Gadget Spot.
No, what are you talking about? If you follow us on YouTube, you get a little bit of Gadget Spot every other week.
You're right.
Even you forgot.
I did.
Oh, man.
YouTube emails.
Most of our listeners have forgotten, too, because not many people watch those.
We have about 10% as many views as we get downloads.
Oh, and now people can know how many downloads we have.
Did I say 10%? I meant 1. I meant
By
0.1.
10, we're just bad
10.
at math.
Oh,
We need to up the entertainment value of those emails
Tell your friends.
with confetti. Right?
Yeah. Lots of confetti.
Or if you don't have friends, just tell random strangers.
Let's
Hey, Gary.
let's go ahead and introduce the panel, and then we'll move along to our awesome Patreon backers. So, Owen.
Hey, people.
Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Owen, and I am on this podcast that you're listening to, and I like it. So you should like it, too, and tell your friends. But you can follow me on Twitter. At Technoan. Jaron always gives me a look whenever I introduce myself. Always. He looks over like, are you stupid? You always say something. I try to be nice to our listeners.
He does it on purpose.
He looks over and goes, would you stop?
He's getting under your skin.
Because I'm just like, hey, I like our listeners.
Yeah.
Hey, listeners, I like you. And because I like you, we should be friends on Twitter. Jaron, go.
I'm Jaron. My Twitter handle is at Jaron, Jarron. You can find me on Twitter, and that's about it. I play.
What about
games
Mastodon?
sometimes. No, because that's dead.
Yeah.
We made that joke last week.
I know.
We can't recycle jokes
I
like
liked
that.
it.
What kind of podcast are we?
I liked it, so I thought I'd bring it back.
Not the Mastodon though, because it's extinct.
Yeah, just like that social media network.
Yep. And
Keep buying time, dude.
James is doing something very important.
No, I got it. What's up? My name's James. You can find me on Twitter at JDD Jensen. JDD is for ADD. If you want to check me out on the Xbox, you can find me at Funeral Taters, Funeral Space Taters. What are you talking about? This is the list right there.
That's wrong.
This is the list.
You all current patrons. That's the list.
Yeah, but never mind. You can also catch me on the Geek Show podcast with the videos. So if you got any extra time, go check out their YouTube page. It's just go to YouTube and just search one word Geek Show. If you want to, that's really it.
And you could catch them on Nintendo Switch this Friday.
You know what? Yes.
He doesn't have a friend code yet, though,
I am going to be putting out my friend code as soon as I get it because I want as many friends as I can get. And the other thing that I really wanted to put out, because I hit it super hard for like 3 days, and then I stopped doing it, was Beam.
What the heck is Beam?
Beam is the Microsoft streaming service. I believe
the Twitch competitor.
Yeah, I believe I'm on there as funeral_taters or funeral taters, one word. I'm not 100% sure. That's so dumb that it...
I would see you broadcasting and think, James is broadcasting.
Yeah, that's why. Hold on. So one thing that I wanted to plug with myself is I played the Prey demo before it came out. Before Prey came out, I played the demo.
Wait, isn't that a scary game?
Yeah, I don't like scary games.
I don't do scary things.
And I found that out halfway through the game how much I don't like scary games.
I do like your wife, though.
Can we start counting how many times Jared derails me? Last episode it was me 3 times. Jared reminded me. So here's the thing.
That was just silence.
In the Prey, in the game Prey, there's what's called mimics.
Yeah.
I didn't get too far into it, obviously, so I don't know if they're any bigger. But there's mimics, and they can mimic anything in this like office setting type game.
I wonder how they got their names.
Yeah. Is it like your name?
Maybe.
What's your name, Tony? Tony.
Oh, see, I wasn't going for that.
Oh.
That was good, though. I was just making a joke about Mimic being called Mimic because it mimics.
I would have allowed it. That would have been really funny had you have cut me off and then just went into Tony.
I didn't have
that.
That
would have been really funny if you would have kept doing that.
That's the thing is I'm trying to be nicer to you, James, and not cut you off so much.
I don't want you to intentionally be nice to me. I want you to like me enough to where you're just nice to me anyway.
Oh,
That'll never happen.
So anyhow, there are these mimics in these games.
Isn't Edge of Tomorrow? Aren't they called mimics there too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's that.
Yeah.
That's from the movie.
So they're not that scary of a villain, as in they don't look that scary. They look about as scary as the head crabs from Half-Life, which, by the way, the similarities between those
scary.
two. Yeah,
they're just black blobs with 4 tentacles.
Yeah. So anyhow,
they look like starfish.
The thing that's the most scary
with fewer
feet.
Scariest.
The scariest thing about it is the sound. Like the one thing that Prey does is they play this really loud sound, kind of like an old.
Well, they toned that down for the real game after the demo.
Yeah, I was going to say it's loud and it lasts a long
So just
time.
turn the sound off when you play it.
Well, and it wouldn't be scary anymore. Anywho, there was
That's
at
the point.
one point in time. I mean, I never thought that there was going to ever be a game where I'm afraid of coffee cups, and in this game, apparently, I am. And anywho, we have a host of the show. His name's Tony.
Hey, I'm Tony. Check me out on Twitter at QuadTTony, or here on the Gadget Spot, or on the Geek Show podcast. And that's about it.
I was nice to you when you got here, Owen. I gave
I'm
you
not
a hug.
I'm not laughing at you.
I didn't
Who you
bet
laugh-
against. Yeah, who you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Jaron because he's messing with the show notes and putting swear words in my notes.
Oh,
Anyway.
Jared feels like it's okay if he types the swear words. He just doesn't want to say them out loud.
This is a family podcast.
Oh, I'm not saying you should say them now.
Do you want me to?
No.
I don't think I've ever
Hey,
heard
you stopped the overfizz there. That was a nice move.
I know. Ever since Tony told me about the overfizz, I've been putting my hand
Yeah.
on top of the
The overfizz,
cup.
man, it makes everything sticky
Yeah, I
around the
didn't
cup.
know that. Yeah, it's crazy. Anywho,
Let's do the Patreon backers.
who wants to explain what Patreon is?
Patreon is a way for you listeners to help support our show. And
Is it required?
No, it is not.
Absolutely not.
What do they get if they do it, Jared?
Recognition on the show. We read your name if you pay $6 a month. What's the tier for videos and other content? Is that $2?
Any
tier.
Any
Yeah.
tier, you get
get
additional
extra.
content a month, and some content in the past has been us destroying Xbox controllers, me puking everywhere.
That was
and,
awesome.
Some great stuff.
We still have a gem that we haven't used yet from CES.
Oh
in the
yeah, we
parking
should put
garage.
that out. Yeah,
We'll have to use that one
Yep.
soon.
I forgot about that.
Full disclosure, some videos are obviously better than others, but regardless, we always look like idiots every time we do it.
So you'll like that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Jared said, it's definitely not required, but we sure do love it and appreciate it for the people that do. One thing that does get me almost excited as a Patreon backer email coming through saying someone's backing is honestly just when I see you have a new follower on Podbean, meaning someone's regularly downloading our
Same
episode
here.
as well.
Yeah.
I see that, I'm like, yes! So, but for our Patreon tech daddies, they are the coolest.
And here is a couple,
have
not
a
a couple,
list.
but the list of Patreon backers that are not required to do this, but they choose to. Anyway, thank you so much to AJ Jasper. Thank you so much. Thank you to Aaron Harris. Thank you. Thank you to David Osuna.
Got it right that time.
Boom!
Well done.
Watch the video that we did for emails that's coming out in
Watch
like
it
a
next week.
Yeah, it's good.
because we record it before we do the podcast, and everybody makes fun of me. Thank you so much, Michael Beck. Oh, I know Michael Beck.
Yeah, Michael Beck's donating.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Thank you to Matt Nelson. Thank you to Jeffrey Kale. Okay, really quick. So last week I called out David Broshinsky for not knowing how to pronounce his name, and he actually tweeted at me, and he said, "Here's something to help you with my last name. It's like you broke your shin skiing. Broshinsky. Obviously, that's not how it's spelled, and it's giving you much trouble." Blah, blah, blah.
I would have thought sk instead of sh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you.
We were pretty close.
We were pretty
Jared
close.
and I.
I make it a point not to try and pronounce last names.
Not to throw your hat in that ring.
Yep, I can't do it.
Yeah, but thank you so much, David Broshinsky. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Roger Allen. Thank you, Austin Beauregard. Thank you so much. Thank you, Connor Ritchie. Thank you, Dan Clark, Brian Lee. Thank you so much, Conrad Southworth, and Adam Hecht. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Never required, but always appreciated.
What happened to Valentine? I miss Valentine already.
It's okay. He donated a bunch.
Yeah, he did.
And if he still listens, it's great.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, but I miss him. I miss just reading his name.
I'll turn you on to his Facebook page.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just his profile. But you can go on there and look at his name all day long.
I could use more guys with names like Valentine.
So,
What would you do with those guys?
It's been. We're going to gloss right over that. It's been a pretty good couple of weeks for news. We got some neat stuff to talk about. Some really quick ones.
A lot of Windows news,
And-
Microsoft news.
Yeah, quite a bit of Microsoft news. Let's start off with a little bit of Microsoft news. So, Microsoft has come out and said specifically that x86 Windows programs will run almost as good as They do natively on ARM architecture.
Now, what did I say earlier in an earlier episode?
I don't know. Refresh my memory.
It was rumored that this might happen, and you're like, that's years away. And like, I don't think so.
Yep.
Here we are.
I was wrong on that one. They're saying it is going to be a very minimal hit to performance.
What's the difference for those that don't know?
So,
from
So
ARM and x86.
The ARM processor is what your tablets and smartphones typically use. And
Oh.
it's completely different architecture than x86, which is what your laptops and your desktops typically use.
Another way to put that would be kind of like the difference between a diesel motor and a gasoline motor.
Yeah.
They both get you where you need to go, but if you put diesel in a gasoline motor, it won't work. And if you put gas in a diesel motor, it won't work. So,
And the fact that Microsoft has made it possible to run x86 apps on ARM with little performance hit, that's a pretty big feat.
that's very cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so Intel's dominance in the processor space for laptops and desktops might soon go away.
Maybe.
If Qualcomm would get off their
I was going to
butts
say
and
Qualcomm kind of
put out some good processors.
They kind of phoned it in the last two versions of their processor. The 820,
Three versions.
Three versions. The 810 wasn't that good.
No.
The 820 was basically straight licensed ARM architecture from ARM for that matter.
And the 835
And
is...
the 835
meh.
has got some good stuff in it, but overall it's actually a step backwards in a few aspects compared to the 820.
Yeah.
But so, man, it's, you know, as much as I don't dislike Apple. Don't get me wrong. I think they do some really good stuff. But man, their ARM architecture stuff for their iPad,
the heezy.
iPad and iPhone, man, that stuff it's always almost 2 generations ahead of what Qualcomm puts out.
I bet NVIDIA or Samsung could put out some pretty great ARM processors.
Well, that's the thing.
For desktop or laptops.
NVIDIA did. The K1 Denver processor was,
well, they still do
was really
with their
good.
set-top box.
That's true. They put them out.
And the Nintendo Switch.
And the Switch. So, yeah, there's definitely potential there for that market to grow. You know, and I think they use similar chips for, what is it? Android Auto or whatever.
Yeah.
They use NVIDIA chips in a lot of those.
Yep.
So, anyway.
It's exciting.
Cool stuff. It's really neat to see someone kind of blazing a path there like Windows does, and it hasn't blazed many paths in quite a while. So.
If they could have accomplished this when Windows RT was out, it would have been a completely different story.
Whole new ball game.
Yeah. And speaking of Windows RT, it's been resurrected in the form of Windows 10s. So the main problem with RT was that you couldn't run any apps outside the Microsoft Store.
RT.
Yeah. Immature joke. I got it. And that's pretty much the same deal with Windows 10s, except for this time, Windows 10s is running on an x86 processor, whereas Windows RT wasn't. So back then, for RT, it was a technical limitation. But for today, for 10s, it's a business decision.
The 10s doesn't run Windows applications natively?
You can't download apps outside the Windows Store.
Really?
Really.
I didn't catch that in the article that I was reading about it.
So they claim that it's faster, boots up faster, because it doesn't have any of the baggage.
They're just trying to shoehorn people.
Third-party apps. But
they're just trying to shoehorn people into the Windows Store.
Yeah. And
or the Microsoft Store, whatever it's called.
If you want to get out of that, you pay $50 to upgrade. So pretty much you're paying $50 so you can download Google Chrome. But like you said, their only reason for doing this, I bet, is so they could get more support for the Windows Store. And it's kind of working because Apple has already said they're going to put iTunes in the Windows Store.
That's right. I did read that too.
That is kind of crazy.
So, that frustrates me. I mean, I hate that they did that.
Yeah.
But on the same note, I'm glad they gave you a back door at least.
$50? Come on.
I know it seems stupid.
On Mac OS, they have a similar restriction, but
it's
to
just
lift it,
a box you check.
Yeah, you go into settings, you uncheck it, you can download apps off the internet.
Never mind. Microsoft, that's a real jerk move.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. And kind of going into their Surface laptop that they announced, they chose to put Windows 10s on that, which is a bizarre choice because these are premium laptops.
Premium?
Well, they start low end and are still priced quite expensively, and they go up to premium.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they're basically a more modern MacBook Air.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they are.
So I love them.
And they're priced similarly, too, as a MacBook Air.
They are. I love them and I hate them. The hate is definitely the Windows 10s. I don't know why they decided to do that. And the $1,000 model you can buy only comes with 4 gigs of RAM.
That's weak.
How much is it?
$1,000 for 4 gigs of RAM. It's 2017.
That's
Wow.
pretty weak.
The lowest tier should be 8.
Yeah.
I mean, 128.
Right, James? 8?
8. Obviously, it's 8.
There's a 128
Duh.
gig SSD in there, and that.
Wait, who's
that's
arguing that it's
okay,
not
but
8 at this point?
No, Microsoft's lowest end Surface Book is 4.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, and it should be 8 is what we're saying.
Yeah, it needs to be.
Aren't
8.
you outraged? It sounds like it.
I mean, at
You
this
should
point,
pay attention.
we need to do something about this, okay?
We should call our local congressman for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start a petition.
Jerry.
They're free.
Jerry, the Congressman Jerry.
And the last stupid decision they made, they didn't put USB-C ports anywhere on it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Apple, they kind of went one way where they put purely USB-C ports on everything, no other USB ports, which I think is a bad decision right now.
Right.
Microsoft went the other way. They didn't put any USB-C ports on, which I also think is a bad decision. Why can't they just put
That's-
1 or 2 ports in addition
let's
to
just
what
say-
they
They've
already
got to
have on
stand
there?
in stark contrast to each other. That's how they
That's right.
survive.
They
They're like,
draw
oh
a
yeah,
line in the sand.
they put all USB-Cs. Well, we're not putting any.
They draw a line in the sand. The guy on one side that's obviously for Microsoft is in his cargo pants and Birkenstocks, just sitting there frowning across at the guy who's wearing the turtleneck with the shaved head.
Innovate my butt. We're not putting USB-C on here.
Now, that being said, I would definitely prefer no USBs instead of all USB-Cs.
I agree. And Microsoft
Yeah.
has said that the reason they didn't is because USB-C isn't up to snuff yet. But why couldn't they just put 1 in there?
Yeah,
Yes,
it would have
take
been
that,
nice. It would have been nice to
Could
have
have
one.
put the hardware on there.
Yep.
And the whole event that they announced it was really kind of weird. So they said it was going to be an education event. So that kind of implies that they're going to be competing against Chromebooks, right? Because Chromebooks have completely overtaken the education market.
Right.
So then they go to this event. They announce Windows 10s for education, and so laptop makers can use that and make cheaper laptops with it, whatever. But then they announce the Surface laptop at this education event, which was supposed to compete against Chromebooks, but it's like 5 times the price of a Chromebook.
Yeah,
So
way
it's
too
kind of
pricey.
weird how they announced it.
I don't know what they're thinking.
That's crazy.
What are they thinking?
Oh, and they have this weird luxury material on it as well. So on the palm rest, on the whole front where the keyboard is, it's not metal.
Rhino skin.
Rhino skin?
Is it rhino skin?
Is it like literally Rhino Skin, or is that the company name
It was
Rhino
just
Skin?
a guess.
Well, that's
you
what they
said luxury.
They have a really cool line of keyboards that they do. They
Hey,
put that Rhino
speaking
skin
of-
on.
Alcantara.
What, is that rhino skin?
No, it is
No.
not.
This
It's stuff they used on their Surface Surface Pro keyboards that are also the cover. It looks cool, but my concern is, will it look greasy after using it for a few
Yeah.
months?
Right.
Especially with your hands resting on it the whole time.
Yeah,
Especially
so-
just with your hands.
Yeah.
they say
in
it's
general.
a luxury material, and you're supposed to treat it like a luxury item.
Is that
so
where-
it kind of sounds like they want you to clean it.
Is that where the 4 times the cost comes from?
This
Maybe.
piece of fabric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all I have to say about the Microsoft stuff. But actually, there's one more thing.
Oh, there's one more thing.
Yeah, I'm just kind of taking it all right now. There's a cool new feature in the new Windows coming out this fall. It's Windows 10 Timeline.
What does this do?
So you know the expose feature in Mac and on Windows 10, it shoots all your windows out so you can see all the windows. It's not Alt Tab, but it's the other one, Windows Tab.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've used it once.
I use it all the time. I use
Apple
it
does.
constantly.
Apple has it. It does that.
Yeah.
They do that a lot.
Yeah, it's great.
Windows 10's new.
I mapped it up. I mapped it so 3-finger swipe up does it, It's great. Anyway, they have this new feature called Timeline where it adds that. Plus, if you scroll down, once you invoke that screen, it shows a bunch of things you've done in the past that aren't necessarily open. So let's say you're working on an Excel document and you closed it out yesterday. If you scroll down, your Excel document is there. You just click on it and there it opens.
Oh, so it's like the recently viewed or like history that you used to see in the start menu.
Yeah, and the cool thing is it
shows
syncs between machines.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on a user login base,
Yeah.
user profile base.
So I think it's a really cool feature,
That's neat.
really cool idea. Coming to you in the next Windows.
That's should be a free content update, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
So if you have Windows 10, you'll get it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of a really cool idea, do you guys want to hear another really cool idea? It's by your guys' hero.
Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes, I do.
So a lot of
Nathan
the
Drake?
details.
Boo.
No.
Two. I have ordered a T-shirt, the blue T-shirt, the blue Henley that he wears. Yeah.
Oh, we could have a Henley party.
Yeah. This is about the Tesla solar roof.
Oh, that
A
looks
lot of the
awesome.
details have started to be coming out.
This is
about
going to make me so sad.
I-
Go on.
I love the Tesla solar roof. It is my favorite.
So they are going to start rolling out installations for the Tesla solar roof in June.
They started.
They're going to start in California and then roll out state by state, depending on who signs up first.
It's cheaper than what everyone
It's
thought it would
way
be.
cheaper than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be at least $50,000 for my house. So I
You have an
evaluated
estimate on there?
Yeah. So
You can do a quote now, right?
the value of energy that I will earn over the next 30 years, I believe, is $23,100. But that being said, the roof itself will cost $25,900, and then you have to buy a battery, which is $7,000, which I believe
$32,000.
which I believe only
Doesn't
has
sound
a
cheap to me.
30-year warranty on the battery itself. But that being said, you get an $8,700 tax credit. So
Okay,
at
so
the
we're back
end of
down to
it,
24.
after I saved all the money, I will have paid $1,100 for the roof.
Yeah.
After 30
After
years.
But that
30
being said, the warranty is infinity or the life
Infinity
of your
and
house,
beyond?
whatever comes first.
So yeah, I
you're
have a lot to say about that because I did solar last year,
Yeah.
and
It's the best decision you ever made.
it was a decision, all right. And now the solar roof is coming out, and I'm kind of kicking myself just for not waiting.
Yeah,
because if you need a new roof,
It's the way to go.
it's
Yeah.
the way
Sure.
to go.
If you're
And
gonna
I
get a new
needed
roof.
I needed a new roof anyway,
Mm.
and so they had to tack that onto my.
Well,
Yeah, I'm bummed as
build.
well because I got a new roof last year, and so I'm kind of screwed for the next 15 years.
Well,
I can't get it.
Well, and here's my question too that I actually want to contact them because I currently live in a duplex, and I want to talk to my neighbor who's really into like home repairs like we are and fixing up our house so it's mutually beneficial for
You
the
sound
both
like
of
good
us.
friends.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Do you have game nights?
No,
They
he's
have
like
They have project nights where they
he's
work
like
on each other's
7 years
projects.
older than me,
Oh, you
and
should, you
he's
should be
like
friends.
a single guy, so he's always out
Do you know
with
who's
his
else?
friends.
Do you know who else 7 years older than you is? That didn't make sense. Owen. Bam.
Owen, how old are you?
I was born in 1980. I'm gonna make you do math.
Do that math.
Well,
It's
fun
really
fact,
easy.
I turned 30 on Friday.
Hey, there you go.
It's a big
Wow.
day for me.
That was a long
Anywho, so
time
the
ago.
the different kinds of roof textures that they
I thought
have
you were
so far.
26.
I was joking with you that one day.
I thought
Jared,
you were 26 this
This
whole
entire
time.
He
time.
You look like a fool.
Oh my god!
He means lying, Jared. He means he
So
lied to you.
the
I
two
can never
styles,
trust you again.
the two styles that are out right now, if you want to go to tesla.com/solar roof, check out the first one's called Texture. They have pictures that go along with this so you can see what I'm talking about. Textured and Smooth, which by the way, if I had to choose between the two, obviously go with Textured. It's the only one that makes it look like you're not living in like a Jetson style house.
Yeah.
I kind of like.
Why
the
would
smooth,
you
though.
not want to look like you're living in a Jetson?
Well, I don't feel like it would match with my house at all.
Yeah,
Oh, no, hold on.
You'd
hold
have to
on.
have an ultra modern
Well,
house to
and-
make that look good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then they have the Tuscan style, which you see in Nevada a lot, which is like almost like the clay grooved, and then the slate, which I think is the most attractive. And the Tuscan and the slate are both coming in 2018, which I think I'm going to try to talk my wife. If we do the roof, I think I'm going to talk her into holding off until the slate is ready.
See, and that just means they haven't got it developed yet. They're like, we want to do this, but we don't know how to get the colors and to still absorb sunlight.
So, but my question was,
Maybe next year.
is if I'm living in, well, I obviously am living in a duplex. If me and my neighbor were to do the solar roof, if there's a way that we could share one power battery between the two of us.
Do you own the? No, there's no way
No,
because
no.
it can't differentiate
It's on
who's.
two different power grids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you both have different power meters.
You don't pay each
All right.
other's bill, right?
Well, and I wonder how the warranty works out with duplexes too, because it says
I don't think
for
you can install
Infinity-
Maybe you could just do half the roof in solar shingles.
Yeah.
Well, that was my question. Is like,
That would
does
look
the
really weird.
warranty cover the lifetime of the? Well, I mean, it's the lifetime of the house, I guess.
There's no way you
Right.
could split a roof,
But that's the
and still
problem.
have it be waterproof.
Exactly.
It'd be
Yeah,
a seam.
it was,
The,
it was
uh,
a joke.
You'd have to get
the other,
panels.
the other problem too with duplexes is, and townhomes like what I live in, is you don't have a lot of roof,
no.
Yeah.
so you wouldn't have enough tiles to actually generate the electricity needed.
You'd be surprised how much roof I have.
You'd be surprised at how little energy is generated by solar.
I put in the square footage of my house.
Is that a threat?
I'm threatening you with the solar.
It asked for the square footage of my house, and it gave me a quote.
But did you do the duplex or just
Yeah.
your half?
No, I did
when
the
you put
duplex.
in
just my
duplex?
half.
When
I
you
just
put
did my half.
when you put in duplex, you just go to like a 404 on the page because you don't do duplexes with solar shingles.
Why you guys got to be hating?
I'm sorry.
Anywho,
Do you have to do the battery for this though?
have to.
Yeah.
See, that's kind of a bummer because
Yeah, but why
here in
would you-
Utah,
I mean-
in Utah, it's a bit it'll be a bit of a challenge legally with Rocky Mountain Power
To have a battery?
to have the. I mean, you can do the battery, but like they do net metering here,
Right.
and you get a 1-to-1 credit. So any
Oh.
credit I produce over what I use, they store that for me, and I get it
Right.
back when I'm not producing.
Well, I figure that wouldn't you just anything after the battery's charged would go back into
Yeah.
the system?
hold on.
So why would you need a battery?
So I'm
then?
looking at the battery right now. It says Powerwall batteries let you use more of the energy your solar roof
Yeah.
produces and keep your home running during an outage. So I don't know if
That's
it's
true.
required.
No, that's definitely true. Because if there's a power outage, I could definitely still get hit with that. I won't have power at my house,
Right.
Because I'm still connected to the grid.
If there's a power outage and the sun's being blocked, right? Okay.
Yep.
So apocalypse.
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Apocalypse Now.
No,
Maybe
just
later.
Later, probably.
100 years, or maybe 2.
Anyway,
We don't know for sure.
Mr. Musk, I wish you would have come out with those about a year ago, if you wouldn't have minded. When you invent time travel,
Go back and
please
fix
go
that.
back and fix that.
Come
Thank you.
on.
So I know we're used to like calling people like celebrities by both their first and their last name, like Adam Sandler, Topher Grace.
Tony Eccles.
Huh?
Just like we do
Well-
assassins by all 3 names.
Sure. But do you guys ever think of like how weird of a name Elon is? Like Elon Musk? Elon.
Well, he's not from here.
Yeah, you're probably making.
Oh, where's
fun
he
of some-
from?
Yeah, you're probably
He's-
making fun of some heritage there.
Isn't he? Isn't he from
South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
So you make
We
fun
got
of South
foreigners
African
in
people?
here taking our jobs.
I think he's created a lot more
Coming
jobs
up
than
with all
he's
the,
taken.
coming up with all these ideas.
soaking
Must
up,
be the
soaking up all the Bitcoin out there.
must be the ringworm that gave him such a good brain. From South
Wow.
Africa. No,
Jeez.
South Africa.
Looks like
No.
somebody's
I don't
hating on a
think
heritage.
so.
Sorry. No, just South Africa, the country and its infrastructure.
All right, let's talk about Owen. What is this? Google finally jumps into the ass business?
What?
I told you, Jaron was messing with the notes, and he messed with them again, and I didn't change it
It's
again.
like two brothers that are like two brothers.
So
I
why,
just like
why
that
did
that
you write
made it-
that, Owen?
I wrote that because I'm very interested in the ass business.
Well, at least he comes out and says it.
So what's this supposed to be?
It's supposed to say the
Can we
car.
say that? Can we say that on a family-friendly?
I like
Sure.
Not even a
PG.
little bit.
PG. It's PG.
PG. It's supposed to say the car business. So
Oh.
yeah. I want Jaron to spit that water out that he's trying to hold in his mouth right now, all over his.
I
nice
thought maybe
service
it was
book.
like short for some sort of file
Nope.
extension
Nope.
or something.
I could have rolled with that probably to save it, but no, I definitely just went the route Jaron
I
intended.
just love
And
how
here we are.
proud of himself Jaron is right now.
Very
I
happy
made
with
a
himself.
funny.
So yeah, Android's gonna start. So the smart cars out there, a lot of them have updatable displays or software in them, and
Sure.
a lot of them, like Volvo and a few others, are already using Android.
Audi.
Yeah,
I
Audi.
think, Volvo,
Mhm. They're using Android already, but they're their own versions that they've cobbled together or whatever.
Ew.
So they're like an offshoot of Android, right?
No. No one's using Android yet.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're using their own proprietary stuff. And you
But
can-
it's still Android. It's just proprietary.
No.
Yeah, it is.
this is the first one that's purely Android.
This is the first one produced by Google that's Android. Pure
No,
Android.
but they still made their own skin on top of it.
Yeah, right. So yeah, so Google is producing a pure one now.
Hold your ground, Owen.
So-
Its own. But
Before Android Auto used to be just on your phone, and
Yeah.
you connect it to the head unit, and then it would display just like a screen, but all the processing would still happen in your phone.
yeah, it was a cast, but
Yep.
some of them were actually have actually been producing.
You tell him, Owen.
I am.
That's not true.
I am. I read the
You
article.
got it, buddy.
I read the
So-
article. So but they were
Well,
like the
they're-
problem with doing that is that you get a version of Android that never gets updated. Like
Yeah, you
some
get
of them are still,
fragmentation.
yeah, they're running on like really horrible
They're running
kernel,
like Jelly Bean.
like the kernel for for Jelly Bean or Kit Kat,
Yeah.
and they never get updates, which means they always. I mean, that's how smart cars get
Jaren's
hacked.
shaking his head. And he can't handle it.
He'll go read through it and see that they were doing that already.
Jaren, read the article.
But
Read it.
This is the this is the first. This is the first time that Android's full.
Today, Google's only spot in the automotive market is Android Auto, which is not an operating system. Android Auto is a casted interface that runs on a smartphone and uses in-dash
man.
car display.
We're have
I don't know what we're talking about.
We're gonna have some fighting where some fights going. Owen's pulling up his website now. He's not taking this.
Several car manufacturers, including Honda and Hyundai, ship Android on cars today, but without Google's involvement.
I want to
This
read the
leads
next
to
paragraph.
ancient versions of Android running on cars that never get updated.
That sounds pretty definitive, Jaren.
Your internet has connection errors.
Especially if it's the
Read
same
it.
article.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not like you're coming from two different sources.
I read it.
I just love how he read the first paragraph, then you read the second paragraph. Tony, you want to take the third one?
Nah, I'm satisfied.
Honda-
I got
Honda
what I
ship-
wanted out of this
Honda
exchange.
ships the 2012 era Android. I'm just going to finish because I like icing on my cake. Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean on the 27
That's
Honda
Jelly
Accord.
Bean.
Yeah. So this is the first time that Google's getting behind its they're throwing their hat in officially and saying we're releasing this for autos for them to put on there, which means you'll get security updates,
Right.
you'll get rolling, like feature updates as well. So.
Right.
And it won't just be like Jaren said. That is true. They do a cast. They were doing a cast one, kind of to hack on there,
Right.
which is Google Auto.
So we were both right?
No, you were wrong.
Owen
I was
was
right.
I was
But
2% right.
Yeah,
I'll give you 2%.
yeah.
Yeah.
You read that paragraph of the article, which I appreciated.
No, I actually didn't even read the article, which is the problem. But I didn't know car manufacturers did that.
Since it's
actually.
open source, they've been able to do that.
I
They
just
can
thought it
do
was their own
whatever they want.
proprietary crap that they've always been putting on there.
It looks like it because they always throw their skin on top of it, and Google's going to be doing that too. Volvo is one of the first ones coming out with this, and they're going to throw a Volvo skin over.
It'll be the equivalent of Samsung and TouchWiz.
Yeah, exactly.
So on your phone.
But it's going to be the pure. One of the differences is it's not going to be like Samsung does with Google, where they install all their Samsung apps as well. Though.
Oh, good.
So it'll be a Google. It's going to be more like what's installed on the Pixel or
Yeah.
the Nexus was
I-
with the pure Android.
It is kind of ugly. I don't like
Yeah.
how it looks too much. But
Yeah,
win some, you lose
I don't.
some.
I don't argue about that. They've consistently had a problem with look. That's why people go to Apple.
Man, I totally Jamesed it.
Ouch.
That doesn't count as
Why?
interruption.
Remember
so
the camera last episode?
Guys,
Yeah.
I have been.
Yeah, that
Wait,
was pretty
camera,
bad.
Camera last. What happened?
When you tried to compare a Panasonic
A $4,500 camera to a $600 camera?
and say that they were competing against each other in the same market.
Oh yeah.
I'm just trying to deflect my embarrassment onto somebody else.
Yeah. So yeah, hey, don't worry
This
about
is-
that,
but
James. We're talking about
as-
how Jaren messed
Dude,
I
up.
would
I've
just
been
like to-
so good this show. I've been focused. I've been funny.
Focused?
I've had a good article.
You don't even know what happened for the first 10 minutes because you're reading up
Yeah,
on
we were
the-
talking about Microsoft.
on the
That was
solar.
a good article. I really like that.
Yeah.
right?
it
The
was
Microsoft one.
It was good.
What are we talking about? Are you talking about my article?
Yeah, your article.
I had
It
a
was
good article.
See?
You know,
I had a
in-
good gosh dang article. You guys can suck it. PG.
Well,
Well, hey,
well, and here
we
you know,
would congratulate
in
you.
Jaren's defense, I'm normally usually the other way around here, so I usually don't get vindication, so it feels kind of good.
I bet it feels real good.
Jaren is
I'm blown away.
always vindicated. He's very much more research based than I am, so I happened to just read this article about 2 hours ago though.
I like that you held your ground though, Owen.
Yeah.
You didn't just fold and say, "Oh, you know what? You're
This is the
probably
first
right."
time you haven't folded.
If it wasn't for James told me to. James gets part credit, except for
that
that
was-
weird high five
James,
I just
you are
got.
just not doing good with the high fives today.
Can I get one with the women's watch hand? No? Okay.
He's still wearing it. I don't know why he's still wearing
I
it.
think
wanted
it's
to
an
get a
attractive watch.
left-handed high five because it has a woman's watch, and I need.
Does
some
anybody want to bring any
Okay.
like the listeners up to speed on what you guys are talking about right
watch?
now?
I'll give you
two.
$2
So-
for that watch.
No, it's worth $10 and I got it on eBay.
It's a Seiko.
James spent $10 on a used Seiko watch on eBay that he was very excited for, and it has the metal elastic band.
Yeah.
You know that you find on women's watches.
And it's very
No,
And
you
it's
have
small.
Men's watches
There's
have
some
this
on
too.
men.
it's very petite.
it's
Yeah,
the
that's the
watch
I like
face
the
is pretty
smaller
small.
Style.
Like I
Nice.
said in our email video where this all went down, and you guys should watch that next week because it's great. if it fits my wrist, it's a woman's watch.
Like,
and that fits my
proportion
wrist.
wise,
Yeah.
if the watch face looks the
What do you-
right size
This does
on
not fit on your wrist. Put this back
No,
on
no,
your
no,
wrist.
no.
The proportion of the watch
proportions
face.
of the watch face. That's
See,
how you know, because
that
Jaren
looks
has
like a normal watch.
Jaren has tiny
See?
wrists.
Yeah.
Dude, that has got to be for the largest woman then that wore this watch before you.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
That
you
could
can
happen.
see all of her skin cells in between the band there. It's really gross.
Give me my watch back.
Don't
Anyway.
put it
My
back.
watch.
Don't put it back. He's putting it back on.
Yeah, I like it.
All right.
I'm going to be wearing it in 2 weeks. You guys watch. It's going to be
Okay.
great.
Watch your watch.
Hey, by the way, if am I going next? Do I have another thing that I want to talk about. Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want me to save it for later to do it now?
Talk
or-
about what?
my second thing.
Go for it.
On the show
Go
notes.
for it.
Okay.
Rick and Morty, right?
Yeah. So I've given up on my new age reviewing system because apparently it's too advanced for the people in this room. And I'm going back to
It
the
was-
1 to 10.
It was never consistent. It
That's
didn't make
true.
any sense.
He's right.
It was 100% consistent
No.
every time. And I'm
I
going
don't get
back
it.
to the apparently new age way of rating games. And the game that I'm talking about is Rick and Morty, A Rick in Time, which is the VR headset, which everybody at this table
This-
at least got to play,
a few-
10 minutes?
a few minutes, yeah.
It was fantastic.
It was really cool.
Yeah. The score that I'm giving, well, let's go ahead and talk about it. I absolutely loved this game. From start to finish, it is like you are playing a episode of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
How long did it last?
When I played it, see,
We
here's
all
the
got
thing.
to the same place and died. So is there more to it than
Oh,
that?
there's
Okay,
so much
good.
more. You got through maybe the first disc, maybe.
Oh, okay.
And there's, I believe, 9 discs total in the game, and each disc is kind of like a save point that you can
Oh,
refer
yeah.
back to. So if you need to set it down, and pick it back up. Which I didn't know that. I wish I would have known that going into it, or else I wouldn't have binged the game in one sitting.
You would have done that anyway.
Oh, I love that game. One of the gimmicks in the game is you're obviously in Rick's garage, or whoever's Jerry's garage, whichever one you want to refer to. I call it Rick's garage. And one of the gimmicks is you have a machine that's called I don't remember what the exact name is. It's a replicator, or I don't know. So there's 2 areas, and you can put like a carrot in one and orange in the other, and then you hit the button, and then it blends the 2 things together. And so I played around with that probably for a lot longer than I needed to. I bet somebody who really tried could beat this game in 2 hours to 2.5 hours.
What system did you play it on?
I played it on
It's
the
only on
HTC
PC.
Vive.
It's on the PC Vive, right?
Yeah. I played it with a 1080 graphics card. I had 0 problems with it while I was playing it. The game is, in my opinion, not janky at all. I don't really have a lot to compare it to. I have, I played through the accounting VR.
Here's the thing with VR. If it's janky, you'll know immediately.
Yeah.
So
It kind of takes you out of it.
So
Yeah, exactly.
Is it more of an experience or a game?
This one was a game. Well, that's tough to say
Or
because
kind of both.
Like when you're playing The Witcher 3, when you're immersed in that game and
Oh, yeah.
invested in the story,
Oh, yeah.
it's both an experience and a game, right?
You got that right.
Yeah, so that's how it was with Rick and Morty. It
Greatest
was
game
both
of
an
all time. Witcher 3. It's the greatest game of all time.
So anyway,
So good.
is it better? Oh, we'll talk about that later. I can't get off track.
good.
So like I said, it's like playing through an episode of Rick and Morty, just with how it ties or how it finishes up. I'm not going to ruin anything, but like how it ends, I'm like, this is an episode of Rick and Morty, and
Well, yeah. Makes sense.
it was super immersive. It had every inside joke, like everything in that game had a purpose. It had Easter eggs in it. I mean, there was multiple times where I laughed out loud when I was playing that game. I give it a perfect 10 out of 10. There's nothing in that game that I could think to complain about.
Okay, give us the rating on your old rating system.
No, because that rating system doesn't exist anymore. I see what you were trying to do
Because
there.
it doesn't make sense.
I wish you could have seen his face. No, just like I am offended you would even ask me
He
that.
thought about it for a second. He was like, maybe I give no. It's a 10.
Well, the thing is, so like I initially wanted to rate it as a 9 out of 10, but I was sitting there thinking about it. It's just like, what do I have to complain
If
about?
you have nothing to complain
All-
about,
So
it's a
this
perfect
game is perfection. Nothing can get better than it.
It could be a bigger game.
I was going to say
It could
probably
last
longer. Yeah.
Okay, sounds like a 9 to me.
But any complaint that I have is in the Vive itself. When you wear the Vive for more than an hour, it
Yeah,
starts to like get
it hurts.
sweaty.
You get raccoon sweat.
But as far as the game, like it's hilarious. Like the voice acting is amazing. I don't feel like at times it was like a escape the room kind of game with puzzles.
Sure.
But the puzzles weren't too hard, and if you got stuck, I mean, Rick's right there to help you out. It wasn't too hard. It wasn't too easy. It had all. I mean, it was awesome.
So what do you think of the Vive?
I like the Vive. I don't really have anything else to compare it to. It could always get better. It's like, when you're wearing well, I don't know. Do you wear glasses?
Sometimes.
Okay, so like,
I do.
think of it like when you're wearing sunglasses,
as
right?
well.
You put on sunglasses, and if you're wearing, especially like the Morpheus kind of sunglasses is a good example. When you first put them on, you kind of notice a lot of the light that's leaking in around your
Right.
eyes, but after you wear it for a certain amount of time, your eyes just tune in to just the shaded part.
Right.
It's kind of like that with the Vive when you first put it on, because it's only in front of your eyes. I would have liked it had they have expanded the screen outwards and just put a blur around it to make you feel a little bit more immersive.
We
Or
call that
immersed into this.
the what's
Like the peripheral.
peripheral field of view or
Field of vision or something like that.
Field of view, I think. I don't know.
where it's wider.
But-
Jaren and I saw the future at CES with the
And it
double
was glorious.
the double 4K VR headset.
Oh,
And
that was another
that had
thing.
peripheral out the wazoo. I
Yeah,
mean, it was
and
amazing.
It was sharp, no screen door effect.
It was so
Well, and
good.
see, Rick and Morty was perfect for that because it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
So you don't need anything to be super crispy
Right,
clear. But I
right.
did play, there's a game on the Vive that I think might come default with it. I didn't have to pay for it. It's on Steam. It's called The Lab. And it's 6 or 7 little mini games.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those mini games get pretty detailed, and that's where you start seeing the pixelation.
the flaws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that could really change with the Vive, which I'm 99% sure I was reading that it's going to be in the V2, is it has to be wireless. Like the moment
That's a hard thing to do.
the moment that you either like get close to the edge and you see the blue screen come up, that takes me out of the game, or where
Well, that's not a wireless thing.
no, or the umbilical cord
Oh,
where it
okay.
like catches
Yeah.
when you're getting close.
That's why the
or if you
Void.
get turned around.
That's why the Void was so cool, because the
Yep.
computer was on your back, and so you didn't have to worry about tripping over wires.
It was pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
And that's one of the things we all had to deal with when we were playing is you coming up and flipping the cable off us so we didn't strangle ourselves.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
that's what I thought you were
No.
going to say something about how all three of you went to the Void.
No.
And that's not something that you would get, James, because you didn't go to the Void.
You're so
I was
mean,
just
Owen.
assuming that
you just
you were
burned
going to be
yourself.
mean to me.
We don't have to do anything. You just burned yourself.
But if you have an opportunity,
Self-burn.
I 100% recommend playing that Rick and Morty game. It is almost
if you're a
worth-
Rick and Morty fan.
Yeah, if you're
If you're not a Rick and Morty fan, you probably won't like the
No,
game.
no,
Yeah,
you
that's
won't.
true.
It had anal suppositories in it. It had what's his name's fake doors. It's
Oh,
awesome.
I love the fake doors commercial.
The one thing that I wanted you guys to do is there is a point in the game where where both your hands turn into guns and you get to fight the what is it, the Federation or something, the Galactic Government,
Galactic Federation.
yeah.
I believe is what it's called.
Oh,
I
it's
could be
so
wrong.
good. But the thing is, when you're playing this game, you got to take your time because
Sure, you got to enjoy all
when
the
you
details
die,
they
there's
put
like a
into it.
phone and.
I was actually really jealous when James put it on last after all of us, and he started picking stuff up and like throwing it around, and like he grabbed Rick and Morty at one point and like tried to stand in front of a gun, and I was like, I wasn't that creative. I was like, I just did what he told me, and then got killed. So
Well, and the haptic feedback and the controllers.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know
was
if you
really
guys
good.
noticed that as much, but at one point when you start it up and you're going through kind of the tutorial of the Vive, you blow up balloons and you can actually like grab the balloons and like try to pull them close to you.
The motion controls are really good.
Yeah, they're really, really good.
and the latency, like the lag,
Yeah.
there was
It's
no-
almost non-existent.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know. If you have an extra $800, that Vive is amazing.
That's the best $800 game you'll ever play.
I'm just saying, if
If
you
you have
like,
an extra $800 just lying around in the couch,
but you also need. Yeah,
It's $800 plus a nice gaming computer.
well, plus a nice gaming computer. Plus, I would dedicate a room to it
That's
if you
true.
could.
It takes up a lot
And
of space.
that'd be the hardest part for me. Like it'd be like Rock Band. I don't want to store
Exactly.
these things everywhere and have to get them out whenever I want to play. I would never use it because of that.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is, I just keep it at home, and in order to actually play it, I got to drive to my work. I got to push everything out of the way because I can actually utilize the 16 by 16 square foot space, but just barely. Like if I go too far away from my computer, that you get that umbilical cord
Right.
effect. The other thing that I would suggest doing, if you have the space, is you get an extender for the umbilical cord, and if you can hang it from your ceiling somehow. Like
Holy
string it
cow.
from your computer up to the ceiling so it hangs down.
That'd
so
be
it's
cool.
That would
Not
be
anyway.
a hard setup, but that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's just a one-time setup, and then you're done.
That the company that
Then you
makes
have
that
a cable hanging down from your ceiling for the rest of your life.
worth it. Company that makes that game, Alchemy Labs.
Yeah.
Right. They just got bought by Google. Did you see that?
Wait, the ones that made the
Rick and
game?
Morty. Yeah.
Yep.
What?
Alchemy Labs got purchased by Google. Now they're working for Google.
Yeah, I did
So
read
they'll
something
just
about why.
They'll shelve half their products
Yeah, probably.
or talk about them and then never release them.
That's a Google. It's a Google thing.
They'll shut it down in a year or two.
Yeah.
Oh.
But they did a really good job on it. There was barely any glitching in it. They did a good job about moving around and making you utilize the space that you were given. And that game was good. I kind of want to play it again right now.
Indeed.
I wish I could unlearn. I'm sure you're like this with The Witcher 3. I wish I could unlearn playing that game just so I could replay it again for the first
that's
time.
how I feel about Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. And
Dude, I tried playing Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 because it was for free on Xbox. I cannot get into that game.
I loved the first one. I never played the second one.
I just don't like the guy's face.
I don't like his face.
You just want to punch him.
He just has a
right in the face.
This has a jerk face.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, he's on the dark side.
Is he?
It's a villain. They got to make it less likable.
He was in Dexter in the first season.
Huh? This is a video game.
Was he in the first season? Yeah, it was.
I was a video game character in a TV show.
He's well, it's that guy. It's the same guy. They did motion capture. Motion capture.
What game are we talking about?
Force Unleashed 2.
Oh, who's not paying attention now?
I'm updating the show notes.
My name's Tony. I have a beard.
It's the same guy that was in the Force Unleashed 1.
Yeah.
He's been in a ton of TV shows.
Who is he?
I'm looking him up right now. I forget his name. But he's been in... he was in Smallville. He's been in another TV show on the Sci-Fi Channel that lasted a couple seasons called...
Falling Skies.
No, it was the one where...
X-Files.
A vampire and a werewolf was
Buffy.
roommates.
Being Underworld.
Being Human is what it was.
Human.
And that was a good show. But he's been to Salt Lake Comic-Con. Oh, Sam Witwer. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's just his face, man. I can't do his face.
Oh, wow. This guy does exist.
I told you, he's been in it. And yeah, they basically...
Don't do his face.
They straight up just mapped his face and body for Force Unleashed and Force Unleashed 2.
You're right. I do want to punch him in the nose.
However, the best, in my opinion, Star Wars video game, and this is without playing
You're already wrong.
Knights of the Old Republic. I'm stating that right now.
Oh,
I haven't
if you haven't played
either
Knights of the Republic, you can't weigh in because that's the best Star Wars game ever made.
one.
I didn't
Jedi
even-
Academy.
I didn't even...
Fantastic game.
Oh, I thought you would be wrong, but no, you said the right answer.
No way. I didn't even really like Star Wars that much until I played Knights of the Old Republic. That has such a good story that I'd say it's better than...
Don't say it.
It's definitely better than the prequels. It is,
Movies?
Oh, yeah. It's just as good as the main Star Wars movies. It is fantastic.
Well, it's got to be better than Return of the Jedi.
Well, that's not out yet, so you don't know.
What?
Return of the Jedi.
Oh, wait, I'm
Return
thinking of
of
the
the
last... I'm
Jedi?
thinking of The Last Jedi.
Dude. It starts out
Why
so
do you-
strong,
he goes,
and then
I love Empire Strikes Back because
yeah, that's the best one.
no, it's not.
I agree. That's not the best
I'm
one.
Oh, you think
Yeah.
episode 4 is the
I
best
think
one?
episode 4 is the best one.
Eh, debatable.
I
Well,
can't,
what would
I
you
can't
say if it's not
argue
episode
otherwise.
4?
Well, episode...
I loved Return of the Return of
I
the
like
Jedi was
Return-
my favorite growing up, but as I'm an adult, I can't get past the Ewoks taking down the stormtroopers.
It's like the last 5 minutes of the movie.
it just completely takes me out of it, and it kind of ruins it for me.
Fair enough.
See, I just liked all the action that's in Return of the Jedi.
I just like the boob grab that's in that show between Han Solo and Leia. It's like my
Where
favorite
is that?
scene.
What are
It
you
is
even
my-
talking about?
You'll notice that the tape is a little
No,
blurred.
so there's no. So there's a
you
scene.
said that so timidly.
Sorry, there's a scene where they're blasting
There's a
open
boob
the
grab?
where they well it's clothes of course but they you can tell that it was an accident, but it was when they're going to blast the doors open to shut down the shield, and Han Solo turns to protect Leia and just whomp, and her face is just like
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can see it on her face.
Yeah, where she's like, he just did that.
And see, for me, it was always the slave Leia as they're
jeez.
swinging away from the party ship onto the little speeder. I was like, oh.
I just, I don't. This
I
wasn't.
love Carrie
This
Fisher.
wasn't really a lustful thing. It was just one of my
Right.
favorite funny moments,
It was,
like an
it
outtake.
was,
Yeah,
just, it
mine
was
too.
an accident.
Yeah, but it's really
I don't
funny.
think you can claim that, James. You can't
Yeah.
claim that.
Yeah.
Especially after that noise.
Yeah.
What's that? What is that?
My tape was a little worn.
Anyway,
Hey, did we talk about the Asus Raspberry Pi competitor that was announced?
Yeah.
did
we
did.
talk
We
about an
talked
update
that?
to the
Okay,
Raspberry Pi?
I couldn't
just in
remember.
general?
I couldn't remember if we talked about that. Okay.
What?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, real quick. Phantom Dust. Did anyone play that on the original Xbox?
Is that the mimics from Prey?
Nope.
Oh, nope.
Nobody did?
No.
Is that Dust?
It's
that
one
you-
of those games. It's like considered a cult classic, you could say.
What's it called again?
Phantom Dust.
What system did you say it was on?
The original Xbox. Like, not Xbox 360, not Xbox One. The original. And anyway,
What is it?
it's, I watched video for it today, and it looks like kind of an arena third-person battle game.
Like a Quake game?
No. So you just watched that video right there about... So anyway, they updated it with HD visuals and things like that, and it's coming out for Xbox One today, actually, as you listen to this. And it's one of those games that had a good sized following when it came out, and people, quite a few people really liked it, but it never had like the Halo appeal,
Yeah.
or Smash Brothers or anything like that.
how
But
much is it going to set you back?
Looks like a JRPG.
that's the thing about this game is they went and remade it, and they're releasing it kind of just out of the blue today for free.
Oh yeah.
well, I'm not.
That's pretty
not gonna
cool,
pick it up.
Microsoft.
So
Macros.
Are they trying to? Are they
Microsoft?
are they following? In,
Microsoft.
are they following in
I don't
Blizzard's
know why I did
footsteps
This is a
there?
very good game.
Yeah, all the speculation of why they made that decision is because supposedly there's a Phantom Dust 2 in the works.
Oh, so
Who
they
made the
wanna-
decision?
Yeah, they want to hype it up. Microsoft.
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 Yeah, we're giving this game out for free.
So check that out if you played the original, or if maybe you just want to try it out because it's free. What do
This
you got
does
to lose?
not look like a good game. I'm sorry.
You have time to lose, Tony.
Sorry,
time.
Microsoft.
Time. You have time to lose.
Yeah, the most valuable resource of your life.
Exactly.
You have that to lose.
Wrong. The most valuable resource of your life is energy drinks.
Nope. Actually, they did prove that time is the one thing that you can that you own.
Yeah.
It's the
one
only thing.
Yeah. I've thought that for years.
Thank you, Microsoft.
I own many energy drinks.
Does that give you more time because it speeds up your brain?
Yes, I own them.
Or do you burn out faster and you die
I find
sooner?
that
Don't worry about that part.
Okay, well, that's
that
what
doesn't
energy-
matter.
I find that
I'm
time-
overclocking my brain.
You sound like an
A little
energy drink spokesman.
Do you have a good cooling system
I
in
got
there?
a fine cooling system.
Is that why there's more surface area of your skin?
Yep. That's why I sweat all the
Microsoft.
time too. It's a cooling system. Okay, real quick. Also, there is a big Xbox backwards compatible game digital sale.
Oh, I'm excited for this.
I
If
feel like
they-
there's a better way I could have worded that. I don't know.
I really hope that they have Portal 2 and the Orange Box. I'd be so happy.
Have you checked to make sure that those are backwards compatible games already? You might want to look at that because I don't know if they're even available to play on Xbox One and backwards compatible. So, anyway, apparently this sale is going to be big enough that they decided to announce it beforehand.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yep.
All right, there you go. So if there's some gems that you want to play that you haven't got to, or you want to replay that was on the Xbox 360, check out the Xbox One digital sale on backwards compatible video games. I'm probably gonna, if the sale's good enough, I might pick up Red Dead Redemption because I only played about the first 2 hours of that game, and everyone says it's the greatest game of all time, or not really that, but they like it a lot. So we'll see. Maybe I'll like it. I don't know. I like good games. I know it was pretty for the first 3 hours that I played. Real pretty. Also,
It's nice.
very nice. Another Xbox related news is 4 years into the Xbox One's life.
Has it been 4 years already?
Yep.
Wow.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
so old.
I think it's almost 4 years. I think it's 3.5 right now. I don't know. Anyway, it might be 4 years. Finally, the very first, they're catching up with PlayStation on this one with Sony. The very first truly 100% wireless Microsoft or Xbox One headset, and it's not even made by Microsoft. It's
How
just
does it
licensed.
compare?
It's not out yet. So.
Wait, so none of the other ones to date have been wireless? They hook to the controller?
No,
right?
so
So you
the
have to,
closest thing you have right
it's a
now
pain.
to fully wireless on the Xbox One is one of the ones I have. Is it has a base that you plug into the Xbox One, and then it transmits wirelessly from the base.
Right.
So does it use optical to
Yeah,
put
it
it
uses
to the base?
optical.
I have a quick
Yeah,
question
that's a
for you
pain.
guys while we're on the subject of Xbox One. Expandable just spit. Expandable memory that you can buy at like Costco and stuff. What up to
Like
how
portable,
much?
like hard drives?
Yeah, portable hard drives. Up to how much can you get? Is it 3 terabytes?
I have a 4 and it does 4.
Yeah, Xbox
It does 4?
I think Xbox does 4 or 5.
Okay, that's my only
4
question.
for sure, obviously,
Yeah.
because Jaren has seen it.
Okay.
So anyway, these headsets. This headset is going to be more like the Sony Platinum and the Sony Gold headsets.
So I really like the Sony headsets because it's just simple. You just plug in a USB stick. There you go. You don't have to do anything.
So actually, this will
still
be a
have
step
to-
above, actually,
Because you still have to have a receiver, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, this
you
will
don't
utilize This will utilize the Xbox's
It utilizes the same
Bluetooth.
No, not Bluetooth. It uses the same wireless signal that the controllers use.
Oh.
That's
So
very
it's
cool.
It's
and
a Wi-Fi. It's a different kind of Wi-Fi.
And honestly, the Sony headsets, the range is pretty bad. So mine is always cutting out. And
Oh,
it
really?
drives me nuts.
You're in the same room with it. You're not
I
even
know.
that far away.
Well,
That's
I'm like
crazy.
15, 20 feet
Get
away.
a USB extender. We talked about that. That's the fix to fixing any USB wireless key.
An extender.
Yeah.
The other thing about it too is it will also work if you get one of the wireless Xbox One USB dongles for PC. So you can,
Really?
yeah, you'll be able to use it as a wireless
Cool.
headset for your PC as well.
Like, does it do surround?
It does the Microsoft Live 3D surround or
Sweet.
whatever. So
If that's under $100, which it probably won't be,
No
I'm
way.
going to buy it.
I'll bet it's at least 150,
Oh,
but we don't know for sure because they haven't announced a price. But
Oh.
I saw it though. I was like, that is pretty cool, and it's about freaking time because the tech's been there for years. They just haven't taken advantage of it yet. The other thing that I wanted to talk, one of the other things I wanted to talk about real quick is MP3 is dead. Say goodbye to MP3. Bye MP3.
What's going to replace
It
it?
was nice knowing
streaming
ya.
services,
No.
which are all DRM'd. I'm sorry.
No.
Well,
I can't have that. I must own the copy.
That's still not exactly what I meant. But did you read the article, Jaron?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not streaming services that's going to replace it.
Well, effectively it is.
Well, yeah, effectively it is. But they've said use AAC format
Really?
because
That's gonna be-
AAC, which has been around for quite a while.
Yeah, forever.
It uses less bandwidth and has higher quality.
Oh, okay.
Actually, so
and isn't that the format they use in the iTunes store?
that was the original iTunes format.
Before M4A?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there you go. Apple wins again.
Well, they didn't invent AAC. They just used it first.
they won it.
So, anyway, and this news came from the people in Germany. The
Fraunhofer.
Yeah, Fraunhofer, who invented MP3. They basically said, we're not going to do anything else with this. We're not going to update it.
What else have they
it's
been
end
doing
of
to
life.
it? Have they just been working on compression for it, I guess?
Basically, improving
Yeah.
compression and things
Yeah.
like that. But they've said, no, it's not worth it anymore. Use AAC. So, it's not going anywhere. You can still use your MP3 stuff. You just won't see any more advancements with MP3.
Good.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting because MP3 has been such a huge part of almost everyone's life since about 2000.
Right.
Yeah, and
know.
and still portable music files are called MP3s to me, even no matter what they are.
That's true, yeah.
Yep.
Kind of like you call...
Kleenex a facial tissue?
yeah, exactly. It's just or Jell-O for gelatin,
Yeah.
you know. Owen... I don't know what to call this one because Jaren's changed the title again.
I didn't change this one.
The one that's from BusinessInsiders.com.
It was supposed to say hackers.
Oh, okay.
Everywhere.
Okay, it doesn't say that anymore.
So,
So what's it about?
there's been a lot of security in the news recently. Network and whatever security. We can talk about that a little bit later, but there's been all sorts of stuff. You guys remember Orange is the New Black?
TV show?
Got hacked.
Netflix? Or
Got-
I should
Wait,
say
what?
Netflix show?
Yeah, they got
hacked?
Netflix got hacked. Netflix didn't get hacked. That's what's funny about this.
It was
We'll
a
talk about-
studio that makes the...
So
wasn't
Netflix
it?
outsources, like a lot of studios, they outsource their finalization offsite, like the sound effects, some of the lighting fixes,
Sure.
the small stuff. They kick it out to a third party.
I'll do it for half
Whatever.
the price.
Exactly. And these small little shops like James,
For half the price, Netflix. I know you're listening.
And they don't have as good a security, and they are the ones that got hacked. Anyway, and what's been happening is with Orange is the New Black, Netflix got it and they released all 10 episodes. Netflix said
before it came out.
And Netflix, they said, Netflix, you're going to be sorry because this is going to cost you way more than what we were demanding. And Netflix is like, we release these all at the same time anyway. We're just going to up our release time, so screw you. But for big TV shows, like for broadcast television,
where it's aired weekly
on a schedule, where they use a hook to try and get you to come back, it's a bigger deal. Well, this new one is Disney has now fallen victim to this.
Oh,
and do you know
I wouldn't
the movie?
mess with Disney, man.
No.
They're like the mafia.
No,
It's
yeah,
true.
They will kill you.
They will find you.
They'll send
you
the
will end up in
superheroes.
an
And they will kill you.
animal ride.
They'll send
kill you.
superheroes.
They have a certain set of skills.
They'll send superheroes, Jedis, and cartoons after you.
Everything.
You are so screwed.
You have no place to hide. But you
You'll
get
end
the
up as
movie.
a stuffed attraction on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Hey, that's the movie that they hacked and stole. It's
Whoa,
the new
what?
Pirates of the Caribbean. Woo! Yeah. So that's
Wow, put those arms down.
that's the new
Tacos.
that's what the hackers basically saying, and they're trying to extort Disney by saying,
Of course they are.
pay us.
They probably want
and
what,
Disney's just going,
like $300?
no,
400
yeah,
bucks?
maybe. And that's for that other thing going around recently.
Oh, right.
But,
So, do you really think this would have an effect on their business? Because the majority of people out there, that's not going to stop them from going to the movie
Exactly,
theater
that's
and
the
watching.
thing.
the
and they're
movie.
just going to buy they'll just buy it up, or they'll just buy the site that hosts it. If they find the site that's letting you pirate that site, they'll just buy the site and shut it down. That's Disney. Like Disney has they're good at what they do, and in the end, for Disney, the amount they lose on pirated material is not actually that much. I mean, it's a lot, but for them,
But they're so good that they'll use that as a media opportunity,
Oh,
and then they'll end up making money
For sure,
on
for
somebody
sure.
else's dime for soliciting for
yeah,
them.
this is
There's-
just PR for them.
There's a couple of companies that have more money than the rest of the earth
Yeah,
combined.
BlackBerry, right?
Nope, not them.
Enron,
No, they lost all their money.
Boysenberry Industries,
That's not a thing.
hats, more hats.
I appreciate their Enron reference because I'm an accountant.
Oh,
And it's fraud that brought them down.
yeah, like Bernie Man.
Yeah. Bernie Madoff.
Yep.
There you go.
We
You were close.
speak the same language.
Yeah, Bernie Madoff.
But you got, I mean, like Disney and Apple and Microsoft and Google, they have so much money that anyone tries to extort them, and they're just like, we'll throw lawyers at you until you can't breathe.
You know, I got to find the article that I was reading the other day that said it's the beginning for the end of Apple. And they had some pretty all right points, even though they have like a ton of money
They
right
have like
now.
$800 billion of cash.
Yeah, but they were
They
indicating.
have more cash than most countries.
And they have their super update cycle where they've been like slowly keeping people from like overpricing their devices so that eventually they're going to get a super sell where everybody's just going to have to buy a new phone all at one time, and it's like a really, really big number.
Not true.
It's true. It's totally true. I would read an article, but I don't have it.
I could see faith in Apple declining in the quality of their products.
Well, that was their
but,
point is like that. Even though they they have a ton of money and they're still succeeding, a lot of people like me that were hardcore, like they're slowly getting chipped away at their like hardcore Apple fan base, and how like a lot of people are just making fun of them about how. Back in the day, they said not more expensive, but more better, or something like that. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure they did
I
say
don't
that.
think that was the,
You know what? I'm not talking anymore.
Not more expensive, more better.
you know what? I think I'm going to go buy that Apple.
I'm going to go do that.
Not more expensive, more better. That was awesome.
I already have it.
Oh, all right. Speaking of hacks, though, tell us about WannaCry, because this has been interesting. I've been following this a little bit in the news. There's two waves.
Yeah, so the second wave is still pretty virulent. Virulent? How do you say
Sure.
that? Anyway,
We'll go with that.
It's out there still.
You
so
give him a pass on using that word.
virulent.
Yet, as soon as I say something,
Yeah.
you hop on top of me.
That's like
Virulent. That's a word.
That's the word.
That's the word.
That is a word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's still out there. But so security.
That's like saying, hold on 1 second. Let me put this into perspective. That's like saying someone's gonna jump over the moon and they only made it out of the atmosphere. You still give them a good job Whereas someone who says, "I'm going to jump over that rock," and they trip on the rock, it's like, come on.
They trip on they trip and hit their head on the rock.
I think you
Yeah.
tripped over that metaphor.
No, I totally nailed that. I jumped for the moon.
Good job, Tony. Good job.
I shoot for the moon.
So WannaCry, I had a security. There's a buddy of mine that's in security, and he said, if you wait, if you're learning about security concerns from the news, you deserve to be hacked. And
If the news is talking about it, the mainstream news
Yeah.
is talking about it, it's too late.
yeah, so WannaCry is out there right now, and it's ransomware. If you don't know what ransomware is, it's where somebody uses an embedded system already
It's in the
Windows.
name.
Yeah, they hold your stuff for ransom. Do you know how they hold your stuff for ransom?
Like this.
No, they use Windows systems to encrypt all of your stuff.
That was
right?
close, though.
So
Yeah.
they use like
And
BitLock
then they ransom it for Bitcoin.
for Bitcoin, right?
Hey!
$300 worth of Bitcoin.
Untraceable.
Yeah.
Well, $300 to $600
Three
worth of
to-
Bitcoin.
and out of the $70,000 that has potentially been paid, that they've reported has been paid for this, guess how many people have gotten their data back? Not one reported person.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
no.
they paid the ransom and didn't get anything?
So
Isn't there an
uh,
episode of Black Mirror like this?
Probably because it's been
It's
around
the
for a
new
while.
one with the Netflix. It's the
I don't think I've seen it.
one with the kid and the older guy from Game of Thrones.
Oh,
You
Well-
haven't seen it.
Well,
well,
I haven't
Ri-
seen it. I love that show.
It's
Now,
really good. It has to do with
there's
that.
more episodes I need to watch then.
Yeah.
I'm check it out.
Watch it when you're happy.
Yeah,
Is it a
because
sad
you'll
show?
be sad when you're
Don't
done.
watch it in the bathtub with aspirin and a razor.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
That escalated quickly.
Get ready.
So WannaCry is, you've probably heard about it because it's all over. It is by far the biggest ransomware attack ever
Do you think it's
perpetrated.
Just do you think it's the Nigerian prince that didn't get his
no,
money, so now
no.
he's doing this?
Maybe he's like, finally somebody paid me and I have money to do this.
Someone at Google did trace it to similar code from North Korea.
Yeah.
Was it that guy that created a website that trapped that inside of it? I don't
So here-
remember who.
so
it
So
was.
he's going to get to that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so here's what happened. So first of all, this ransomware actually came about because of us in America, the NSA.
Yeah,
this
not
is
me.
this is actually part of the NSA's the leaked Windows and systems attacks that got hacked from the NSA.
America.
Called Blue Eternal, and they used Blue Eternal to exploit a
Loophole.
a known Windows loophole that has to do with what they call SMB sharing or the network sharing. So this thing can crawl through your network drives and encrypts everything you're connected to.
Ooh.
And so you get it on your computer, and a lot of corporations, they map their file share to their Windows machine or whatever, and this thing just goes out there and starts encrypting it. I've actually dealt with this in a corporate environment once. We had one of our directors of operations get it, and it started encrypting our entire file share, and we backed up. We pulled
man.
back from a day ago, and we're like, well, whatever that was, we don't know. We fixed it, and then within an hour, it was already chewing through and encrypting again.
No
because-
way.
Yeah, so it screwed us up, and then screwed up our backup. It was really horrible. But
Does that give you the pea shivers as like an IT guy to know that kind of stuff exists?
The realizing that the user is your weakest link in the IT world is pretty horrifying.
And that's the first thing you should learn in the
Yeah.
IT world as well. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's the most important.
And so this one this had a kill switch built into it though. So this is spreading like crazy. The way you get this, by the way, is you're gonna get an email with a zip file. Don't open it if you don't know what it is. Don't open unknown zip files if you don't know what they are. That's just common sense at this point. But it's the whole trust but verify. If you get something from somebody and you weren't expecting it, or it seems weird, this thing's going to come from somebody you know. That's how it'll
It'll
come
be
in.
a hijacked mail email.
It gets they fished the email address. It's going to come from an account you know. That's what makes
Exactly.
it even harder to avoid. But the way that it got killed, they built a kill switch into it. There's a domain, and it was just random characters. So ab9 whatever at .com. That was the domain. And this virus, it goes out and it checks that domain first and sees if it's available, and if it's not, then it continues on its script and goes, well, this tech guy, he's like a kind of a small fry at this tech firm, student or researcher or something, and he noticed that it was doing that, and their tech firm, they buy up domains to see how. That's how you create a honeypot. So the first way you get to tackle a botnet is you take over its command center, which is where the viruses go to get commands. And it's so you buy that domain or you get that server, and then you take control and you shut them all down. Well, so he went out there and he's like, well, this virus is trying to go to this domain, but that domain doesn't exist. How is the virus? But that was part of the code. That was the kill switch. So this researcher just bought the domain. He's like, well, I'm going to buy this, and it's going to be our honeypot, and that's how we're going to. I guess that's how we start. That's the first step. That's how you start
that's your bait.
analyzing this virus and how it behaves. Well, inadvertently, he didn't know that, but he bought the domain, and as soon as it registered, and the virus would then go out and try to touch that domain, if it got back anything but an error, it stopped its script. It didn't encrypt. It didn't continue. It just shut down. And so he was an inadvertent hero of the day by buying that domain randomly. So
that was a good story.
Not all heroes wear capes.
So anyway, so it's out there, but it's pretty crazy the way that WannaCry is going through, and I think it's kind of funny that.
So is WannaCry different than the other one that was shut down?
So the other one out there is, I think it's WannaCry 2. There's so many variants now. The problem is with having a kill switch that's just a random domain. Just change the random domain in the code, and
then you got a whole new virus again. Well, not a new virus,
we
but
need to buy all the domains then.
A renewed virus.
Yeah, there's a couple others that are out there that are a little bit more horrible right now.
What was the domain name?
It was just a random string of characters.
Oh, dang it! I was hoping that it was an actual word or something.
No.
So is this the virus that made Microsoft patch Windows XP?
That's the other thing that's Windows, Microsoft, right? Specifically, they like their life cycle, and they like to kick old software out and force you to buy their new one because they're not going to security patch, and they fearmonger you and say, well, we're not doing any more security patches for this, so you got to move to the new architecture or the new operating system, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was so bad that Microsoft actually went back and retroactively for free, which was actually kind of shocking coming from Microsoft, and created a patch for XP and Server 2003 and Windows 8. And I think that's the 3 that were completely out of service at this point, that they don't have to. They tell you what operating system.
Windows 8's out of service?
Mm-hmm. And 7.
So that means
7
and Vista are too then.
Yeah. So they actually went back and retroactively created patches for those. And it was pretty shocking to the world because normally if you want to keep using XP, you can do that, but you set up a special support contract with Microsoft, and they will create updates just for you.
And you pay through the nose.
Through the nose for that. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. This attack hit Europe really, really hard, and I think it's because of all the hacked versions of XP over there, or versions of XP that a big hospital out there got hit in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
and it just shut them all down. So they retroactively went and fixed it so that no more can happen. And because of it hit Europe first, America kind of got a little bit of a notice being like,
this is like the zombie apocalypse but for computers.
Kind of.
It really was.
How can zombies come from Europe
and
hit us over here?
They
can't swim.
Airplanes, man.
Yeah.
Haven't you ever seen World War Z?
The zombie apocalypse wasn't because of the zombies transmitting the virus. It was the people that were infected with the zombie virus before they turned into zombies traveling the world.
We call them users.
So
carriers.
How much time?
Or users.
In the IT world, it's users.
How much time does it take a zombie to mutate into a zombie?
It depends on what zombie lore you're ascribing to.
Lame.
Yeah. So anyways, it's pretty crazy. I mean, it's mainstream media in the news right now, so everything, but you'll probably hear a lot about it in the future. There's legislation, a lot of pushes now to try and force Microsoft to never be able to stop updating their stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of irresponsible of them to just say.
But in a free market,
can't
they have? Don't they have the choice? What software could you force some game you love to keep creating a game?
No,
because you really liked it, or whatever. Like the fact that IT people in the world haven't taken the time to update their infrastructure and they fell victim to this.
That's
whose fault is that?
It's the company's fault for not updating their products.
Microsoft gave years of advanced notice for XP users, and then extended it for 2 more years, and then said, "Okay."
Yep.
So
update your infrastructure, everyone. Come on.
I feel you.
Anyway, that's it's going around right now.
I feel like that might be a movie at some point.
Yeah.
10 years from now. Or maybe 5 years from now, it'll star the guy that figured it out.
But how do they turn an unwitting? Now that he's said that he even said, "I didn't mean to do this. It was an accident that I bought this domain."
It'll totally ruin the twist at the end.
Yeah, it's like
you already know.
Yeah, or he's like, "Yeah, I'm not really a hero. It was an accident." Like, how do you turn him into a hero now when he already said he's not?
Yeah, Hollywood can do it. They can do anything with their stories.
Give it to Disney.
Well, just
They've
give it
got
a different
formula.
ending.
Yeah. Speaking of updates and operating systems, Google is claiming that with Android O, they will be able to have much more frequent updates regardless of what your carrier is or your platform, your hardware platform.
I don't believe it.
They've made similar promises in the past, and it hasn't really panned out.
Yeah,
so what they're doing this time, so there's 3 steps in the update process. 1, the chip manufacturer has to sign off on the update. Number 2, the phone manufacturer, like Samsung or HTC or whatever, has to sign off on the update. And number 3, the carrier has to sign off on the update.
Right.
So what they've done is they've helped the first step. So they've kind of took the drivers outside of Android, and so hardware manufacturers don't really have to certify as much as they did in the past.
They're trying to modularize the OS, kind of.
So steps 2 and 3 still exist, and I think those were probably the weakest links anyway.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to make sure that it's not going to break TouchWiz. I mean,
Yeah,
that was always
It's not going to break what?
TouchWiz.
Gotta have my whiz, man.
What's TouchWiz?
It's
That's
what
the
sits on top of Android and Samsung devices.
the skin that Samsung puts on their stuff.
And especially the carriers. I mean, they don't
Right.
want their phones to be updated because people want they want
New
you to
stuff.
buy new phones.
Yeah. This one comes with the new Android N or whatever that
That's-
you can't get.
Yeah. That's
And
the
even
one-
Google
Does
only
Android
supports the
N
phone for
stand
2 years.
next?
Nougat.
Nougat.
It's always a dessert. What is O? Is it Oreo?
They haven't decided yet
Oh.
that I know of.
But we know
Totally be
it's an O.
Oreo.
Yeah,
Totally.
I don't
They
know.
don't do Oreo. I mean,
Yeah.
It should be Oreo. if you
orange
ask
cream.
me.
Maybe
It's
orange
low-hanging
cream.
Yeah, it could be
fruit.
orange cream.
Yeah.
Orange sickle?
Oh, that's good candy?
Nope.
No.
Oh, snap.
No.
No.
I
the
I
one
remain skeptical.
the one thing I'll always give Apple credit for, and back to their I love their ARM architecture, is when they came onto the scene, they wrote the book on updates and basically told the carrier, we're only putting our phone on your service if you allow us to update whenever we want, regardless of whether you like it or not.
Yep.
And they still stick to that, and
Yeah.
that's pretty great. So anyway, let's see, a couple other things that we wanted to hit on here. Nope, we already did that one. What is this one? Echo Show.
So Amazon introduced a new Echo device.
Oh yeah.
So this is their line of speakers where you say
it's a Chumby.
What's a Chumby?
exactly.
What's a Chumby?
It's a Chumby.
So
What does Chumby mean?
years
You'll
ago, Chumby, they released this little cube. It had a small display, and you could put widgets on it. So you could put on like a news reader, and it'll cycle news headlines, or you could put on Pandora, had a little speaker on it,
Or
and
the
you could
weather.
you could play music, weather, just pretty much any widget that a developer makes. You could do that. Sony, they licensed the Chumby software, and they made their own version called the Sony Dash. Came with a much bigger display, much bigger speaker, and you could use it kind of like an alarm clock. I actually had a Sony Dash for a year or two, and it was a cool device. It's
How often did you actually use it?
I used to use it as an alarm clock. I used it every day, and it was cool. But they didn't sell very well, so they kind of
How much was it?
fell by the wayside. I think it's probably $150, something like that. I definitely spent way too much
This
on
looks
it.
like something you would see in your car dashboard.
So Amazon,
Kind of now, yeah.
they introduced a new Echo device. The Echo devices being those speakers where you say Alexa, and they'll fulfill any request of yours within reason. So this new Echo Show, it's pretty much like a Chumby or a Sony Dash, but with Amazon software on there. So I'm hoping the speaker is as good as other Echoes. Who knows? But it has a display, has a speaker underneath it.
Ugh, it's $230.
Yeah, if you buy 2 right now, you can get $50 off.
Off both of them.
Yeah, off both of them.
So
Oh.
$215. Oh wait, is my math
No.
wrong?
Yeah.
$285.
You mean 185?
So no, you start with 230, subtract 50.
But no, because it's 50
It's $100 off if you buy 2.
Oh, I
So,
thought it was
yeah.
$50 off when you buy
Yep.
2. Okay.
So you could do video calls on it only through Amazon's special video call app, which is kind of whatever. But what's cool about the video call app is it's not the typical call answer type of thing. You can have trusted users, and you could just drop into it. So if you have kids and you want grandma to be able to talk to your kids anytime, Grandma will just suddenly appear on the Echo Show.
Not good.
And
Not good.
I see your point.
What are you doing, Owen?
Walking around naked, and I'm like,
Oh, hey.
Yes.
Grandma.
So be sure you have clothes on.
I mean, I could see them like coming through with the phone call. Like you can see them, but you have to like accept the phone call.
I mean, yeah, you can still do the standard accept.
isn't this from Total Recall? Didn't they have this happen in Total Recall? A
think
video
so.
chat where
That's why there's trusted users. You have to set them up to be trusted for them just to drop in. But it's like, you know, it has Alexa, so it sounds like you're controlling the whole interface with Alexa. It's an interesting device. I'm kind of interested in it. It sounds like Apple is going to be releasing their own version with a screen. That's the rumor.
We call it an iPad.
Siri being the Alexa
With a
in
kickstand.
this case. So there's going to be some competition in this space. I like the idea of a kitchen device, you know.
right.
Just having a speaker didn't feel like enough to me, but having a speaker and a screen.
Yeah, where you could
I
actually see the list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
think
the
it'd be-
recipes part would be really cool.
Recipes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Recipes or putting on like a Netflix show, you
Yeah.
know, just stuff like that.
I
It'd
can
be pretty cool.
guarantee that the Apple one's going to be more attractive, but it's going to run worse.
Siri will be worse, yes.
Par for the course.
Display part
I'm
of it will
excited-
be much better, I'm sure.
I'm excited to see Apple start another device and then mediocrely pay attention to
You're
it.
talking about the Apple TV?
Oh, it's garbage!
Sounds like you're talking about the Apple TV.
It's so bad.
But going back to the Apple ecosystem, the main frustrating part about it is they're the gatekeeper and they don't allow everyone in.
Yeah.
And so their HomeKit, their smart home system, not all devices work with
Is
it.
Nest
Very, very
included in that?
few devices work on the HomeKit platform.
And it's crazy.
so
if they want that to be so ubiquitous, they got to open it up.
I know, like Alexa, like the Echo, they have so many devices working on the Echo because it's just open. If Apple releases a device like that, they need to open it up more
Yep.
for it to
when
take
they open
off.
it up, though, they're going to be brave. It takes
Courageous.
Very courageous.
Yeah.
Yes.
strength.
Maybe
Endurance.
they can take all the courage they have from removing the headphone jack and put it into that.
They're still
Hey.
using that courage for
Hey,
the
hey
headphone
listeners,
jack.
if you want to start a drinking game, you can take a drink whenever we mention that.
Courage.
They don't care.
Exercise.
Take a sip of that Rockstar.
Actually, we hope we care. We hope you care.
What?
Wait, that wasn't the end.
No, that
Did we
was
just end the episode?
no. I was just
Dang
practicing.
it! That would have been so good if it would have ended right there.
We were just practicing.
Yep. Just practicing.
Strange that I can't use that phrase in a normal context now. I feel like I've been trapped now.
You have a big burden on your shoulders.
I did want to hit on a listener submitted request, and probably as our last story for the
Thrifty
day.
50? Should I say that
Oh
for
yeah,
next
yeah.
time?
Let's
Yeah, we got to say 350.
let's do
If we're gonna make
Thrifty
it this
50, and
fun.
then we'll go to the listener request.
I don't have the video ready, but
That's fine.
okay.
Did you make a video?
I'm halfway through it.
Through
you-
making it or filming it?
Filming it. You said the other day you didn't want to edit any of our videos anymore, so I kind of feel
I didn't
pressure
say
like I have to
any
edit it.
anymore.
He
And
made me
I
do-
was
he made me do it, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen because
No.
half of that footage got lost.
You know, James, if
So-
if we find that we
Oh,
can
yeah,
edit our
right.
own videos, your marketability plummets.
Let me just be clear, though, James. I can't do that. So
No, that was
what
that,
I kn-
Man, that was cutthroat.
what I know
that
how to
was.
do. What I know how to do is drag and drop a video file into Photoshop and then hit render.
Well, that's good because
in
Photoshop doesn't do
Photoshop?
video.
Yeah, I'm already out. See, I'm already. Sorry, Premiere? Is it Premiere? It's
Yes,
Premiere.
that's it.
How's your,
Okay.
how's your
It's a-
marketability doing,
See,
James?
James, I wanted to bring you back
Not
up,
gonna
James.
lie, it hurts a little bit right
It should
now.
have brought you way back up with me just now.
Yeah, thanks.
Way back up.
My brain it's hurting ever
I'll
since
do your
you said
videos,
render and
Thanks.
Photoshop.
In Photoshop? Good.
It's like I feel like you're using those words, but they not right.
They not right.
They're not good.
It's not more better.
Hurts my earballs.
More gooder.
It's not. Yeah.
So you're halfway through your Thrifty 50 video.
Oh yeah. Back to
Halfway
that.
through filming it.
Yeah.
What else do you have to
let's,
film?
let's get to the part
So
where it talks
I
about
did
what
the
is.
unboxing part. I
Oh
see
yeah, what did you get?
So I got an iRig, and what that is, it's a interface between your guitar or electric guitar and your iPhone, iPad, or an Android device.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's really, really cool. It's this little it's like a small rectangle. You just plug your 1/4-inch guitar hookup into it, and you plug into your phone. You launch GarageBand, and you could play from your guitar right into your phone.
No amplifier or anything needed?
No amplifier needed. Wow. And so you can either download an app called Amplitude. That's I think that's their app, but you can you have effects pedals in it. I use GarageBand. GarageBand also has effects pedals, and you can record. It is a very, very slick device. So I got the iRig HD, and that is a step above their normal model, which is like $40. The iRig HD, rather than using an analog connection, uses a digital connection, so that's why I opted for the HD. But word of warning for you people out there with an iPhone 7, if you have an iRig HD, you can't listen to it on the headphones because it takes up the only port the iPhone 7 has.
Oh, the courage!
It makes me... So I bought it. And I bought it, and then I found this out, and I was so
Isn't there
pissed.
a splitter that you could buy for it?
You have to buy their dock, which is like $50.
A dongle.
Apple's dock, because that's the only thing that'll work with it.
Oh, really?
Because the dock has a headphone out.
Is
So it's ridiculous. So I planned on using it with my iPad, which does have a headphone out. So
Not courageous.
iRig has a new model out, which does work with the iPhone 7 because it has a headphone out on the iRig itself.
Yeah.
But that cost $100, and since this is a Thrifty 50, I bought an iRig HD, which was cheaper.
It was becoming less thrifty, so you kept it thrifty.
Yes, I did keep it thrifty, but you can buy the $40 version that has analog, which is also a very, very good option. So with the iPhone 7, though, you can still use the normal phone speakers, the external speakers, and it's like a mini amp, and it gets surprisingly loud, and it's pretty cool.
So I'm looking at this on Amazon right now. So it comes with all the cords that you need for it, right? It comes with the input jack, the Lightning USB cable for iPhone.
You could use it with your computer as well.
So there's nothing that you need for this? It's ready to go right out the box?
Yeah, and since GarageBand is free now for Apple devices, it works right out of the box with that. Nice. Amplitude is free, but there's foot pedals you can buy for it. It's really fun. I enjoyed it, and it works, does what it says it does, and it's a good price. I give it a full-on 10.
Wow.
How much have you used it so far?
A couple times. But I used to be a much more serious guitar player than I am now.
How long, though?
Maybe like an hour.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
All right.
So you listeners out there, I need you to contact us so that Jaron will then be forced to record a song and/or video. I don't know.
Yeah, so the half of the video that I speak of, I did the unboxing, of course.
Did you play
I shot
on
that.
it?
Not yet. That's the other half.
Oh, okay.
So I need to show me using it, and so once I finish that, I'll put the video out.
Okay.
So don't contact us.
No, do contact us and ask for.
Okay.
We're taking requests.
I'm not very good.
So give us a song request for Jaron.
And that's not me being modest. I'm really not very good.
I want to hear Wonderwall.
Freebird.
Cool. Well, I look forward to that, Jaron. That's going to be neat.
So I would totally recommend that. It's cheap, and if you play guitar, go for it.
All right, let's do one more. So, listener submitted request.
Yeah, so this comes from my brother-in-law. He actually sent me a text and asked me to look into Dappley. Have you guys ever heard of this? No? Okay. Well,
nope.
I hadn't either, and there's a good reason. Tony helped me with this, but it's an Indiegogo.
Oh,
so
forget about it.
DOA.
So, yeah, I don't know. But
how do you spell it?
DAPLIE. And so when you think of the cloud, what do you guys think of?
Water.
Okay.
I
think of technology.
Azure or AWS.
Okay.
Or
whoa, this dude's from Provo.
Storing stuff on Dropbox.
Right. So your stuff sitting somewhere else.
Google servers.
Who knows what the cloud really is?
Yeah.
It's a server somewhere?
Other people's hardware. That's all the cloud is.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
The cloud is just somebody else's hardware that you're renting space on.
Yep.
And they pay for more power and more network so that it doesn't ever go down. But, so Dappley, I looked into the video, so I posted a few links about it. The device itself is really, really cool for a couple reasons. So I run a Plex server, and this thing can work as a media server. You can attach storage to it. It's actually a very cool design where you stack up as much storage as you need. And it looks like the stacking is how it interfaces with itself. And so you're like, you know, like in a Drobo or another NAS devices, you have to like buy a 5-disc NAS or whatever,
Sure.
right? And then if you want to go bigger, you have to take the drives out and rebuild everything. It's a big pain in the butt. Well, this one looks like you just want more space. You stack another drive on top, and it seamlessly integrates in.
Straight modular.
Yeah. And
Okay, that's kind of cool.
yeah, and then
The idea of it's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a prototype
let's-
or not because Indiegogo doesn't force you to, right?
Nope.
But they could have one. I don't know. I didn't look into it enough. But they do. They obviously you can pre-order it now, just like on Kickstarter or anything. But
They
the cool-
were completely funded by 1,194%. So
yeah,
1,000%.
yeah.
Whoa, lofty goals,
Yeah.
lofty dreams, people.
And so, but the other cool thing about it is that you can use it as a media storage or as a streaming service. So it comes with an app, and it's kind of like Plex in that way, with more granular controls per user. And so you can actually see what people are doing. That's one of my complaints with
Big
Plex right now.
brother.
It's one of my complaints with Plex right now is that if I start to suffer and my server starts to suffer, like because if I have people watching it or whatever, I don't know who it is.
Oh.
Unless I got their IP address and looked for it on my firewall and was
Right.
like, goodbye.
So does this have a processor in it? So it'll...
It has to, yeah. It's got a processor. It's got to do some sort of encoding. It has to in order to play to all devices.
It's not just dumb storage then.
No, it's not just network attached storage. The other cool thing about it is that it's your own cloud. So you know how when I say it's cloud and you're storing on other people's stuff, so you can send your backups there, like
Yeah.
Google backups and stuff like
Sure.
that go to Google. You can actually through this app you can choose your photos and videos to send back to the Dapply device while you're anywhere. So it's connected to your house and it makes a cool service like that. Which there's not a lot of cool backups that you have in house like that.
There's some options out there already. Like Western Digital makes one called MyCloud,
Yeah.
and you just hook that up to your. It's basically an external drive that you just hook up to your router.
My problem is anytime you have a hard drive manufacturer making a storage system, I feel like they've got a vested interest in using their own hardware, their own crap. And so
Sure.
if you don't like Western Digital drives, you're kind of stuck. These guys seem like they can do more, or you could. I haven't, like I said, I don't know more about it. I don't even know how the drives fit in. The device is circular
Yeah.
in design, so
How big is it?
it's got to be big enough to hold at least a
hard
solid
drive.
state, right?
Yeah, I was just looking online. It doesn't have like anything like that. It doesn't tell you like how much they're going to be.
No, it does on their Indiegogo site. It actually tells you how much you can get them for pre-order.
Oh, how much? How much were they pre-ordered?
I have to look at the link.
300.
Yeah, like for 2 terabytes.
Yeah.
For 2 terabyte storage, you get 300.
But that's you
Like,
don't need
I
to know a lot
guarantee-
about technology
No.
in order to set
No,
this up.
this is a very and the app looks very user friendly.
Because
Wait,
like
wait,
somebody like
so
you could do.
Oh, go ahead.
Somebody like you could do like a 5 terabyte,
Oh yeah,
something like this,
like I said, my
for
Plex,
like 150, right?
well, my Plex server that's just a software installed on the server that I have running my RAID. So I could use that storage that I've created for anything, and I could set up my
A private cloud.
I could like an FTP
for how
server.
much? For 2 terabytes.
For 2 terabytes, I could probably get away with about $100, $120 if I had the server already.
So you're
if I
paying
had
for the
hardware.
knowledge and convenience.
Yeah, and it's the interface on the app is pretty cool.
I'd be seriously worried about the jank factor on this.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I bet they could put out a device like that with an app on the phone, but it'll probably be buggy as crap.
Yeah,
and I guarantee if you're getting 2 terabytes for $300, that's not a solid state drive. That's a spinny hard drive.
right. And like
Which
I said,
is- that's fine.
The dimensions don't look that way, but maybe it's probably the
And
little,
I'm sure it's small form factor, like
yeah,
2.5.
Yeah, like
inch
I just
hard
hope it's
drive.
not like a 5400 RPM
It-
drives.
Come on, it will
yeah,
be.
Yeah. So
but
I don't know. I'd love to get my hands on one. These guys are local, but
It looks really cool. Don't get us wrong, but I say the same thing when it comes to pre-ordering video games as I do about Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Don't do it.
yeah,
Honestly, wait till it comes to market and actually see what it's like.
right.
Because it might be awesome, but I've invested in too many Kickstarters that turn out to be turds.
Yeah, but how can you try it when it goes to market if it doesn't pass the Indiegogo phase?
Well, if it doesn't pass the Indiegogo phase, then oh well.
Right.
You know.
But
then it wasn't
isn't that a
good
paradox?
Then
though?
it wasn't good enough to start with.
Some
Yeah,
people
but
have the
you need-
courage.
And
Some people are courageous.
Here we go.
empathy.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks like a really cool device, and if you could really just logically stack it to add more hardware,
That
to
would
add
be
more
pretty
storage,
cool.
I would love to know how they're doing that. Coming from that side of the house, I know how to set up RAIDs and stuff. To know how they're just seamlessly integrating it in like that would be cool to see.
Yeah.
So it looks like a really cool thing, but yeah. So anyway, my brother-in-law submitted that. He wanted me to look into that and think about it, and so
See, the problem with Indiegogo and Kickstarter projects from inexperienced teams is they give themselves a time limit, and everyone's almost always optimistic. So then they have to hold themselves to this time limit, and so they don't have all the time they need to make it good.
end up cutting corners.
Yep,
and,
it becomes cutting corners and push it out the door because we need to show something.
Yeah, we have investors that these people that funded it. They want to see something. So
Yep. So keep an eye on it.
Yeah,
it
well,
might be cool when it comes
yeah,
out.
we'll see.
Check it out.
I like I said, I usually when I first started doing this, I would like just troll Kickstarter and Indiegogo like incessantly for cool ideas, and then I was like, these aren't so cool, and they never happen.
They never come out.
They never.
Or when
happen.
they do, they suck.
Yeah. So anyway,
Cool. Neat. We'll keep an eye on that.
yeah.
I think that's it. Unless there was something else. I think
Hulu Live?
Oh yeah. Sure. Let's talk about your.
I can cover this in 1 minute.
do it. Do
All
that.
right, so Hulu announced a new service, Hulu Live.
Is
I
this
can't
to
remember
compete
what it's
with
called.
YouTube?
YouTube,
Yeah,
YouTube
so-
TV and DirecTV Now.
You spend $40 if you
Which YouTube is 30, I believe.
35.
35.
Okay.
But with Hulu, you get your existing Hulu subscription, plus you get live channels. There are local channels in some cities, not all. Utah does not have local channels, so there's no ABC, CBS, Fox. So that's a bummer.
Is there a recording device on this?
There's DVR. It comes with 50 gigs of DVR. If you spend an extra $15,
I thought it was 50 hours.
yeah, that's what I meant.
Versus
50 hours.
YouTube is unlimited. Go ahead.
But if you spend an extra 15, you get 250 hours.
So then you're at $55.
Yes.
But it also ups the amount of devices you can watch on simultaneously.
Yes.
Now,
so
when
it seems a bit easier to share your Hulu
Account?
subscription, your account with other people.
Right.
Now,
Um,
is this the Hulu that you have access to that doesn't have commercials if you do this?
You have to pay an extra $4 if you don't want commercials.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's
So
there's a bunch of add-ons.
They will have a no commercial live TV option.
I doubt that.
no
If
commercial
it's-
existing Hulu option.
Oh, yeah.
But
I
if you
already
have a
have-
live
I
option,
already
you
have
still
that.
have to.
You still have to watch the commercials
You
if it's
still have
live.
Oh.
Hulu seems to be including some channels that YouTube doesn't. They have like Cartoon Network stuff like
that
that.
makes it almost worth it. Actually.
I love my Cartoon Network.
However, YouTube just added BBC, which Hulu does not have.
If YouTube would add Cartoon Network and I don't think it has AMC.
It does not have AMC
If they
yet.
get Cartoon Network and AMC, I'd sign up for YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing it's missing for me.
They redid their apps on Apple TV, iOS, blah, blah, blah. It is beautiful interface, but it is confusing as crap.
So is it once you get used to it, it's good?
I don't know. It's really pretty to look at. I'm like, when I first booted up, like, whoa, this is the future. It's the same guy that was on Microsoft's team that like helped out with the Zune and stuff.
Oh yeah,
The Metro design.
the Zune was awesome.
And so so
We found it in a trash pile. Everybody on Earth is listening to
it
it.
holds 300 songs.
300 songs?
it has like really bright colors. It shows the text really big, and but it's pretty confusing to get around. I honestly did not figure out how to record something onto the cloud DVR.
You
Now-
never figured it out?
No.
Wow.
And I looked around for a good
Wait,
5-10 minutes.
Wait, you subscribe to Hulu Live?
I tried it, yeah.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yep.
Now, if I have Hulu on my TV, do I have access to Hulu Live? Is it through the app?
No.
It's it's a separate service.
It's a separate service, but the app has to be updated. So if you just have the normal Hulu app and it hasn't been updated, you can't get it.
But you can update the app and try it. You get a week for free trial.
Yep. So give it a try for a week. I gave it a try and I found we barely used it. So I'm keeping my normal.
That's how I feel
Hulu
about normal
trial.
TV anyway.
That was my
Yeah.
problem with DirecTV.
Yeah.
I barely used it for the 3 months I had
I
it.
pay $12 without commercials and I love it. And I'm not going to pay an extra $28.
Well, when you go to
Right.
live TV,
Extra $30 actually if I don't want commercials.
it's just I feel like I'm always watching commercials.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I finished One Punch Man.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Dude, it's good. I didn't
After
watch
the first episode.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I will agree.
first-
But I binged the first like 5
Yeah,
in a row.
exactly.
I watched the Japanese version that had English subtitles.
That's
That's
way to
the
go.
only way they have it so
Yep.
far.
No, I have seen it where they have English dubbed.
oh,
Really?
I want to watch
Yeah.
the dubbed.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know where to find it, but I saw somebody reviewed it on YouTube, and
you sure it
and
wasn't-
when they were doing it on YouTube, they had the English dubbed version.
Sure,
but they
he
went
wasn't
into,
just
like-
doing the dubbing on
That's
YouTube.
what I
No,
was
no, they
wondering.
didn't. They didn't. No,
Don't you know who I am? You ever seen that? You ever seen that video?
no.
Of the X-Men
No.
where they overdubbed that? It's like the most famous overdubbing of X-Men.
Was it bad lip reading? Was
No,
that, it was a different one.
It's back in like the early 2000s.
Oh.
They actually reference it in
So-
X-Men.
Wow.
Jaron, are you going to try YouTube live TV for science? See how you like it?
Well, it's only available in 5 markets right now.
Yeah, I can't.
In
What?
5 cities. Yeah, it's in beta
Why?
because it's in beta.
Why?
Hulu's
They're testing
technically
it.
in beta too, but they
It's
have it.
available everywhere.
Yeah,
See if they
except
can make
except for the
money.
local channels, and those are only in some cities.
They got to see
So-
if they can make money. They're softening the market.
This
Yeah.
is still a very nascent technology and project from
Why
these
do you
companies.
use a word like nascent?
Because it's good and it apply. It,
I feel like there's
The-
there's
the
another
application
word
that-
you could have used for that, but you chose to use nascent
did.
because you're like, I'm going to sound smart when I use this word.
My vocabulary is more better than yours.
All right. Feel like a big man?
Yeah,
Huh?
I do.
Feel like a
Hey.
big man?
Feels pretty good.
Yeah. Well, we hope you care.
That's the end of the show.
That's the end this time. Yeah.